Okay, so in this question, we are looking for the grouping. So which group does the median sit in? So the first thing you must do when you have a question like this is total up the frequency so that we know how many data points we had in our data set. So if we total the frequency column together, then we get 100. So we know that in our data set, there were 100 points. Now the formula for working out the median is n, so the number of points in your data set, plus 1 divided by 2. So the position of our median will be 100 because that's the amount of data points in our data set, add 1 divided by 2. So that equals 50.5. 101 divided by 2 is 50.5. So we know that our median is in position 50.5. So what we need to do is we need to then add up our data set, add up the frequencies in our data set. So we know that there is one number between this range of numbers between 0 and 12, and we know that there is 9 numbers between 12 and 24. So what we need to do is we need to add these two together until we get up to 50.5. So 1 add 9 is 10. So 50.5 we need to keep going. 10 add 13, that's 23. So we know we need to keep going because we need to make 50.5. So add the next one, and that's 79. So we know that our 50.5 is not in this one because that's too low. And we know that it's not after this one because this goes up to 79 positions, so 79 data points. So we know that our 50.1 is in this grouping here. Sorry, 50.5 is in this grouping here because the 50th 0.5 number, the 50th 0.5 data point is in this group of numbers here. Okay, so if you imagine them all out on a line, if you wrote out the 100 numbers in a line and then you counted to the 50th 0.5 number, that would be our median, and that is exactly doing this. So the first point, then your next 9 points, then your next 13 points, and then we know the next 56 points is the number that we're looking for, which is 50.5. Okay, so this is a very similar question. Again, it is asking us to find the middle point of the data set, and we have all our frequencies down the side. So we know that 41 numbers were in this range, 39 numbers were in this range, 28 numbers were in this range, etc., etc. And you could write them all out in a line, but obviously that's going to take you quite a long time. So we need to total up the frequency. So the frequency is 116. So we know there are 116 separate points of data in our data set. So to find the position of the median, so we're using the n plus 1 divided by 2 formula again, where n is the number of data points in our data set. So it's 116 add 1 divided by 2, which is 117 divided by 2, which equals 58.5. So we know that our median is in the 58.5 fifth position. So like I said, we could write out all 116 different points, count along to 58.5 and know that that is our median. But that's going to take us an awful long time to do that. And the table basically tells us the same thing. It's all the data is already ordered into the categories, so we don't need to order the data. We know that the first 41 points are in this set, and we're looking for 58.5, so that must be in the next set, because if we add the two together, if we add the 41 and the 39, then we get 80. So we know that position 58.5 must be in here because this is the first 41 positions, and then this ends with the 80th position. So 58.5 must be in this grouping here. So we know that our median sits within this interval, this grouping here.